Welcome to the Game of Risk, everyone. I'm your host, OliveXC, a top player at this game, and today we are doing the quarterfinals of the Risk 1v1 World Championships. We are going against Felice, the world's best 1v1 player from Peru. This guy is the real deal, and I'm looking forward to playing him. So here we go. 4 games on Jules Mysterious Island, 4 games on Brazil Caps. Let's do this. So as we look into this map right here, the first thing that we notice is in the upper left hand corner, that blizzard is very overpowered for player 1, because if I select that territory there, Felice cannot select a corresponding counterpick territory that's equal to that. Another thing that I really like about this board right here for player 1 is that blizzard in the middle right there. It's going to make it very hard for Felice to connect to the upper right hand side of the board. So I'm just prioritizing taking as many spots as I can in the bottom of the board, because that area doesn't really have a lot of blizzards and it won't be very important in the game. So you can see I have a nice little grouping of territory right there. That means Felice is going to be placing more territory up top later on, and that's going to allow me to establish an advantage for myself. As I continue selecting territories, I'm just prioritizing not selecting anything in the middle, because I know that's going to be the last territory that Felice is going to make me select. And because he selects there, I'm going to place my troops in the upper right hand corner, because I think that's where he's going to place his army, and I am right. I get a good balanced blitz off of Felice, and I make a couple more quick attacks in succession to establish an overwhelming territory count over him. And I'm at 27 territories. He's only at 12, and he just won't be able to get my territory count low enough in order to get the same number of troops as me per turn. He stops when I'm at 23, which is a good number right there. That means he has 16 territories, so he's following the rule of 3 perfectly right there. Which means if you have a multiple of 3 of territories, try to select one more if you can. Felice is playing this like a pro in the best way that he can, but again, I just have the territory lead. He can't do anything at this time. So I just prioritize attacking as many territories in a line as I can, establishing an advantage. And now I just have an overwhelming lead. I take this game and win 1-0. Now heading into game 2, I am going second now. So if I win, I'll be able to get 2 points. But Felice is making incredible picks. He selects something in the lower left-hand corner, which is a 1 border area for himself. And he also takes a lot of spots in like that middle continent to again force me to take like the worst pick there. So he's really making some very solid selections for himself, and I'm not making the best ones this game. I'm not going to lie. I think he's kind of outplaying me right now, because as I continue making these selections, I'm connecting myself more and more. And here I think I make the critical mistake for myself this game. I make a selection in the bottom right-hand side and give myself a massive connection on the bottom. Since most of the spots remaining are in the middle, because you need to be selecting the middle spots last on this map, this is just going to be allowing Felice to connect me around the map. I may have been able to select this territory in the bottom left instead of the one that I did, but Felice connected me everywhere around the board. He absolutely crushed me right here. But I have a technique that I can do. I place this far away from where I knew he was going to place his army in the middle, and this is going to make him attack several territories to get to me. And by the time he's actually able to blitz my army, it's only a 23-22, and he fails! That was a 73% chance with balanced blitz. So if your opponent ever outplays you in territory selection, placing far away from where they're going to place their army is a really nice way to counterbalance it. So I got a little lucky, but hey, you're going to get good luck and bad luck in this tournament. So I go to 25 territories, again following the rule of 3, to take away as much territory as possible to limit his troop count. Felice does a good job breaking everything, but again, I just have an overwhelming lead in the territory right now because of that bad blitz he had on me. And again, there's just not much that he can do. I'm stopping here because I don't want to risk losing a 3v1 and losing my momentum. But I think I'm very close to taking this game at this point. Felice is attacking a little bit more, but he's recognizing that the troop count is just going overwhelmingly in my favor right now. I'm at 28, he's only getting 3 per turn, and it looks like I am going to be able to take this game. He's not giving up though. He turns in a set, hoping I do not have a set at 3 cards, so that way he'll be able to make a comeback. However, I do have this set, I do trade it in, and he just gives up. So since he went 2 points going second, I'm ahead 3-0. Heading into game 3, these are incredibly unique blizzards right here. They split the map in 2 and make the bottom left continent a 2-border region. So I am prioritizing, besides taking the normal best picks on this map, trying to force Felice to connect himself down at the bottom, so that way I can potentially hold the region later for myself. So I'm just prioritizing taking territories now on the upper right hand side, because again, you want to be placing the best strategic positions towards or away from the blizzards basing on the situation, and he connects himself down the bottom left. This was a critical mistake by Felice, because this is going to allow me easy access to eventually take the region for myself. Now, taking a region can be risky, because even though I can hold it in those 2 territories right there as I make my final picks, and I am expecting Felice to place in the upper right, which is why I place where I do. And I am right. And look, he can't reach me now based on where he placed his army. So I prioritize splitting 12 and 12, because again, when looking at the math on this, he's going to be getting 8 troops, and a 9v12 is only about 25% chance. So it's very, very likely for him to fail it. And look at these rolls. They are going in my favor. He is unable to break me, so I'm going to be getting a huge bonus of territories the next turn. I would like to thank a lot of my practice partners that I had for this round, like Felice and One Shot, who gave me that advice about really defending your borders to protect your continents, as that's what allowed me to establish an overwhelming lead to take this game right here. With that, I am now leading 4-0 over Felice heading into game 4. So as we're heading into the last game here, these blizzards aren't too crazy, but Felice makes a critical mistake early on. He takes the upper right territory. That territory is not a forcing pick, so I pick a territory down in the bottom left. And I think it's important to mention that during this entire series, Felice and I are in voice chat talking with each other right here. So we're just shooting the breeze, giving each other a little bit of mind games. This is not very impactful in a lot of these games. However, it is very impactful in this game. This is because as I'm continuing to place territories down, I'm identifying that I can probably isolate myself on the bottom right-hand side, and I'm wondering how Felice is going to react to that. So I decided to play a little bit of a mind game trick on him, or make him think I'm not going to place there. Listen in on this. Do you risk everything on the isolated location? Or do I try to place everything out in the middle? But if I do place isolated, I have a chance to win the game. This is a very tough decision for you, Felice. So I place my troops somewhere differently because I want Felice to place down the bottom right and then just give me an overwhelming lead, but he doesn't fall for it. He gets a blitz on me. However, it's a 21v22. This is only 50% roll. And fortunately, it works out for him, but I really had an edge on him in these games. So I try rolling him down right here. I get some good dice, but he just has an overwhelming lead in territory at this time. Again, because he had a very good roll. The flip went his way. So I play this out a little bit more, but Frankly, I realize at this point that he just has the overwhelming lead in territories, and he'll be taking this game at this time. The score is going to be 4-1 Felice heading into Brazil. So heading into the first Brazil game, these are already very impactful blizzards. You can see there's a blizzard in the middle territory. This is normally the standard cap spot for player 2. So I prioritize taking this territory because this is going to allow me to hold my bottom right region a little more easily for myself. In addition, as I keep placing down the territories, I'm trying to make sure that this territory right here are Felice's territories, because I expect him to be capping in the center board, because otherwise I'm going to have an easy time holding the region for myself. So as we make our final selections, I place everything down, and Felice makes a really bad cap spot. Again, you have to cap in the center. And you can see this right here. All I'm doing is controlling my area of the board, putting everything on my cap for safety. And now look, Felice has one turn where he's going to be getting 8 troops. He breaks me right here, but his cap doesn't have access to me right here. So because he doesn't have access, what I'm able to do is I attack him. I get a bad roll, but I leave 10 troops. This is because a 6v10 is around 12%. Very, very unlikely for him to break. And he gets in a little bit of time trouble a little bit because he thinks for a long time before making his move, and he tries rolling me down, runs out of time as you can see by the arrow, and he skips a card. So now I have extra troops and a continent for myself. Felice is on the back foot this game. So I just take one more territory for myself and then move the troops back onto my cap. I know he's going to be breaking me next round anyway, and long term he's just not going to have access to my continent. So as I keep playing this, I'll be able to continue establishing an advantage for myself. So he's trying to break me, taking some additional territories to put pressure on my cap, but I have a set on 3, and since he skipped a card, he cannot have a set on 2 cards. So again, I break him, but I lose 4. Just really, really bad luck right here. And then I prioritize taking the region for myself down here. So he's going to have to expend additional troops or no longer have access to my capital to break. And he's just on the back foot. He decides to try to blitz me right here. And we can see the odds right here are around 25%. So a little bit higher than what I wanted, but I'm still getting an advantage. And you can see his rolls were not the best right here. And as he kind of finishes up these rolls right here and I take the win, I decided in our voice chat to give him some advice because I like helping people out. You need to cap in Mato Grosso. Like when there's a 2 territory region, you just got to normally cap there. So we head into the next game, and guys, we get the same freaking blizzards. Guys, I can't tell you how much I was laughing in chat as this was happening right here. Because now he knows what to do. I mean, Felice recognized his mistake the prior game. He probably would have capped there anyway, but just me and my big mouth. Like, I feel like this VC was hurting me more than helping me, but if it makes a good joke, it's kind of worth it. As we place down our remaining territories, again, I'm prioritizing not selecting this spot to force Felice to try to isolate himself, but as we head into the overall territory selection in our cap spots, I make a critical mistake on the first move. I should have just immediately fortified back to my cap, but instead I attack these territories right here, and this locks my capital in place. Again, this was just a critical error because you can see Felice is just going to break me right here and get an overwhelming lead, taking additional territories for himself. And since my cap is blocked, I can't do anything about it. So I have to prioritize breaking the continents. I also open up his cap. I could have potentially thought about going around his cap, but again, it could have been risky, and if I didn't break that continent, he just wins the game right then and there. So I fortify some troops to try to recover from this situation, but things are not looking good. He is very smartly leaving some troops in that area so that even though his cap is blocked, he's still able to attack for himself. if and when I break those regions. So I place everything down, and again, I'm losing a couple of dice. I make an 11v12, which is around a 40% roll using true random, but the dice don't go my way right here, unfortunately. So I just prioritize breaking as much as I can, taking another region, but he just has a lead at this time, and things are just looking very, very dicey for me. So he's just prioritizing again, breaking everything, and there's just not much I can do. I decide to risk it all, doing a 10v8, and I failed a 72% roll. Everything was going wrong for me this game. And he's going to be turning in a set soon, and things are just getting worse and worse for me at this time. He gets another time getting the continent, so again, I was trying to break him, putting extra troops on my continent and my capital to make sure that it stays nice and strong, but it's 4 cards. He's most likely having a set, and he does have a set, so he prioritizes taking the region for himself right here with a nice 2 border guard, and now I am forced to do a cap roll. A 23v18 is around 23%, so most likely it's going to fail for me, but Felice played an excellent game. My first one turn blocking myself was a mistake, and he's going to win this game right here. The score is 5-3. And alright guys, we are heading into the thumbnail game. I hope you have your popcorn stuff ready, because this game is insane right here. So Felice and I are dealing with very, very standard blizzards. The map is very open. So as player 2, my priority is to send this into the late game, because my sets are bigger than player 1 sets. Eventually, this will give me a huge troop lead, which I can hopefully establish to get an ability to win the game. So we place everything down. I have access to the bottom right hand side of the board, and what Felice is trying to do here is he's trying to take the region and have some troops guarding it, and that way he'll be able to successfully defend it. So I go down and try to break him right here, and look at this dice, you guys. I start off really, really poorly, and I just go down and make a lot of dice. So I prioritize breaking him, and again, I don't get the best roll. I only go +1. Now Felice is going to be able to place down some additional troops and successfully guard and hold the region. I no longer will be getting the extra troops as player 2. So he's a nice 6-6 guard. I try to break him again, and oh my gosh, guys, these dice are really, really bad. I am in a really bad spot right now. So I try to get lucky again, and guys, this is really bad dice. If I can't turn this around soon, Felice is going to take this game right here. But Felice makes a critical mistake. He attacks the territory to the upper left of his cap. You don't want to be doing that unless you're forced. And now look, I'm able to break him right here. I'm starting to get the momentum back. Our cap sizes are very close, so even though he has a lot of extra troops than me, he's prioritizing taking and holding a continent for himself. So again, I try to break, and do I get the dice? I do! I do get the dice, and I break him again. Look at this, you guys. Our cap sizes are now pretty close. So we're trading into sets, but I've managed to try to stabilize the game a little bit. If I can get into the late game, I will be okay. So I decide to again try to roll Felice down. 12v12 is pretty close to a 50% roll, but the dice don't go my way. So I just decide to break the continent and go back to the cap. Again, our cap sizes are pretty close. He can't successfully cap roll me. So again, he is trying to take the region. Like, he's playing this brilliantly right now. 6v6 guard. I have to break him again. Can I get the dice? I do! I do get the dice again. Like, this game is incredible, guys. Like, he is keeping on these extra territories and troops, and I just have to keep trying to break, but I'm not giving up. I'll never give up. And I break him again. Guys, like, you gotta get a little lucky these tournaments to win them. I started out slow, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be giving up. So he's now going back. I have to use my wild card at this time, but I'm just prioritizing breaking him and then taking another region of the board and then going back to my cap for safety. Because again, if I keep my cap too weak, he can try to blitz it. Because the longer this game goes, the better it's going to be for me. So again, Felice takes the region, and now he's again trying to hold it. So I got to get lucky again in order to break him. So again, I'm going for the blitz, and I do break him again. Like, this luck is incredible for me right here. So again, he goes back, but he's realizing that we're going to be getting sets soon. So I can just break him, put my troops back. I'm now leading on his capital, so I've successfully managed to survive into the late game right here. I can now turn in a set for myself and start breaking him down below. So I roll him down because I want to stack without opening up his main capital. And then I prioritize just leaving a couple troops down there so we can't break and take it. But now what Felice is doing is he opens up his cap to the right, taking that territory. I then review the battle log and see that he moved all of his troops from that territory back to his cap so I can successfully break it. And now, look, you guys, his cap is trapped. He cannot attack anywhere around the map. My capital is open for myself. And this is going to be a huge strategic advantage for me. I am turning this game around. And now the sets are huge. I'll be getting an extra 5 troops every card orbit with him. So Felice is taking territories, but he's card locked. Like, look at his capital. He can't do anything. So I make a little bit of a mistake right here because I'm getting a little nervous. I'm realizing that 14 is stuck. So I prioritize breaking the regions again for myself and fortifying back to my cap for safety. And also, now that this game is going late, he can't really hold the bottom right region anymore. So look what I'm doing right here, guys. I'm leaving around 6 troops there, so he's having a hard time breaking and taking the region for himself. And that is just allowing the game to stabilize into my favor. As the game goes later and later, it's just going to be better and better for player 2 right here. Felice is on the back foot. So I'm just continuing trying to take the region for myself, forcing him to break. I put all my troops back because, again, he's going to be turning in a set. I don't want him getting a favorable roll, but I have more troops over him on our capital, so he can't roll me. And again, I'm saving my wild card if he ever trades in a set on 3. And look, I'm just breaking him, leaving my troops down there. And now look, I'm holding a 666 in the upper right-hand region. The devil's number, baby. Felice trades in because he wants to break it, because again, he can't use his capital, but the rolls weren't incredible right there for him. He only gains a couple of troops. And he just goes back to his cap. But look, I have a set on 3 because I've been saving my wild card the entire time this game. So I prioritize taking over the map at this time, successfully defending and holding the region for myself, and breaking him down at the bottom. Felice is on the back foot. He has to prioritize breaking my 2 continents. Otherwise, I will win the game right here. And he fails breaking my upper right-hand region. I'm now getting all of these extra troops over him, you guys. And he makes a huge mistake right here. He leaves his troops right next to me. So by using the balance blitz slider, I can take some of his territories. He should have placed right there where the arrow is, because my capital will not have access to him. But he keeps since he's blocked, as you can see right here, he just can't do anything. He has to get very lucky trying to break me. And again, he leaves troops next to me, which is a huge mistake. So again, I just use a slider. I hit him. He's not opening up his cap. Again, he should be placing down in the bottom right there. And now look, he is on the back foot. So now I have to decide, Do I go for the blitz and try to take the game? The odds here are about 90% with a balanced blitz. But I remember when I faced Marin, I had a similar roll, 90%, and it failed. So I was worried. But you have to trust the math. You have to trust the odds. I go for the blitz and the win. And I get it. Guys, I popped off crazy right here as the score is 7-3 me. Listen to this. You do it. You fight. You fight. You fight. And no matter how bad things get, you maintain the attitude and you win. Oh, that felt so good. Guys, that last game was ridiculous, and I'm glad I'm able to share that with all of you right here. But as we head into the last game, where Felice is going first, these blizzards are incredible. That blizzard right there makes the +6 region a 2-border area, and the blizzard on the right-hand side makes the upper right region a 2-border area. I just don't know what I'm able to do. I also block myself down at the bottom right there. So I have limited mobility with my cap spot. And as I place everything down, Felice is just in a really, really good position to take this game. Because we can see right here, he just takes some extra territories. And when I place my troops down in order to take everything right here, what ends up happening is I'm unable to hit his 3. So even though I take everything else around the board, at this time, I am unable to really establish like a lead, because look, he's just going to place everything down on his 3 right here. He is then going to break all of my regions, which he successfully does, and now he's able to hold that continent, and my capital can't have access to him. He just really played this game well with the good blizzards that he had. So I tried to get lucky, I tried to roll him down, but a 6v10 is very, very unlikely for myself. So again, I'm trying to moving around, trying to attack, but my dice are failing. I'm just really getting some bad dice. I'm running out of troops and options. This is not good, you guys. So Felice is just playing this well, breaking me everywhere, defending his regions, attacking a lot, and look at this. I should be doing the blitz right now of a 21v19, but instead I try to roll him down because an 8v9 is around like 35%, which is a little bit higher, but the roll fails. I should have tried rolling him down because I could have had at least a small percentage chance to succeed. But look, if he has a set right here and turns in, he can just like win right away. He doesn't, but he's just getting too many troops, and he just defends and goes back to his cap right here. And now it's like a 19v26. So there's just nothing I can do. I attack a little bit more and break him, but he's going to have a set on 4 cards. 100% roll. He played an excellent game. I was a little off. And the score is 7-4 me, and that's the final score. And that's a series, you guys. As we look at the leaderboard, we can see I'm still in first place in the tournament. Felice did an excellent job, but I maintained my lead. Guys, if you're enjoying this, please consider subscribing to see my semifinal match next week. This is OliveXC, signing off.